Tour Junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the Genesis 2025 betting picks preview from Torrey Pines South. We're going to be joined by our boy Matt Every here in just a minute to talk about everything you need to know about the golf course, his takes and experience from Torrey, as well as his recap of the first gambling feed last week for the Waste Management. But speaking of the Waste Management, we have to first pat ourselves on the back because, man, did we clean up last week, headlined by Mr. Patrick Perry being one of maybe three people that hit Thomas Detry at 100-1 to win that thing, and he won in the quite dominant fashion. Pat, the floor is yours there for the Detry call.
Listen, well, thank you, DB, first off.
Yes, of course. Great call.
And you're right, I was one of few that mentioned him and also put him on the card, and he was a little bit of a he was kind of an early call for me when doing the first look show that I do in the Nut Hut Discord. Everybody, by the way, should be in the Nut Hut. I don't know why you're not. If you're not in there,
very important.
Can easily go to tourjunkies.com. It's right there. It's all there for you to get to. And
if you have been if you've been in the Nut Hut 2025, if you joined January for the Century, you have paid for. You might have paid for. You could have possibly paid for a lifetime membership, depending on the size of your unit. No unit shaming. No unit shaming. All unit sizes matter. Small units need love too. But depending on the size of your unit, you could have possibly easily paid for a lifetime membership, which is available on tourjunkies.com, into the Nut Hut in the Discord, just with our picks in the Discord, because we've been on fire everywhere. But obviously, Detry was an early call for you on Monday at the first look show.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. You could have already paid for it. And look, I mean, I started to get a little nervous for a second because I think it got cut to 2 on the and look, when a guy like Detry's never won,
yeah,
you start to get nervous. But he came in and he took it. He goes in there and just throws a dart on 16. You know, I mean, birdie 17. I mean, the guy just is. It was just an incredible. Well, and then he birdied 18. So it was just like he closed the door. And I feel like Detry is a guy that we've always known has been super talented. First Belgium to win on the PGA Tour, which kind of surprises me. I thought there would have been another Belgium that would have won on the PGA Tour, but he was
no
the first.
Thomas Peters. No, yeah, that is kind of wild.
Yeah, so it was great to get the hit, and I like the guy. I think we're going to see some better things out of him too the rest of the year, and so it was good. You know, we saw some guys up on that leaderboard too, DB, that like a Berger coming. I mean, what was this? You know, we had Berger up there, we had Spieth up there for a little bit. It was like 3 years ago or something.
It was a little weird. Detry, Detry for me, I do like the player, and he's a bomber. He seems quite aggressive. You know, like you said, he's never closed the door on a win before, but he has been in the hunt a couple of times, and he's not gotten it done, or he's gotten outrun. Kind of a solid short game, but it's always been the irons that you never see for Detry. And so he doesn't really pop on a lot of models because models are usually heavily weighted towards iron play. Yeah. And this just shows you the volatility of golf because he led the field in approach play for the week, gained over 7 strokes on approach with the irons. And, you know, it all clicked. And if you play golf, you understand sometimes that just happens and it all just clicks, and it did for him. And, you know, Scotty, who everybody thought was going to be up there, and it seemed he was going to win. In fact, you even texted me on the weekend and were like, okay, Scotty's going to win this thing. Yeah. Here he comes. He spotted the field a few shots on Thursday or whatever. Now he's surging. Just didn't happen. But the Waste Management was a lot of fun to watch. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I did track it. But it wasn't just Detry. I mean, we absolutely cooked, Pat. You know, we talked about the Discord, which also, you know, I gave out a prize picks play on Thursday that hit easily 3x. We had a lot of good fun, a lot of good stuff going on in the Discord. But SoBet has also more than paid for itself if you've been over there, because the streak continues. And I've been saying it. You know, it wasn't a streak till maybe, you know, I don't know, till we got to the Amex week 3. But I've been saying it since the Amex that we've started 2025 off quite hot, and the streak remains. I hit a 8-unit profit round 1 round robin over there on SoBet. That was a lot of fun. We netted over 7 units on SoBet this week, which brings the total for 2025 up over 18 units on SoBet exclusively with our golf bets. That's not even counting the dozens of handicappers on SoBet. They're dishing out winners in every other sport. So if you're not already joined, you need to click the link in our description. That code TJ2025 gets you $1 for the first month. You can just try it out and see what you think. I promise you're going to like it. Every sport imaginable, vetted handicappers. We're crushing it over there. So please, if you've not given that a try, come ride while we're hot, because this is not going to last forever. We know that it's going to come to a halt. But get in here and get a head start on the 2025 golf season as we have. Let's keep riding it, because the boys are hot right now. And SoBet and the Discord are both crushing it. You know, I had somebody on SoBet chirping me, Pat.
Really?
And this is a lesson. I had somebody in there chirping me on Thursday, or on Thursday morning. Or no, the early Thursday morning. Oh, where are all these matchups you talk about? You're 8-0. Where are these matchups? And I said, man, you know, well, first of all, there's a round one, round robin posted that I posted on Wednesday. That's got 4 round one matchups. Obviously, I like them. So you could pick any one of those. If you don't want to do the round robin, you can pick any one. But I said, man, honestly, I don't love the board. I just didn't love the board. There was one matchup that I felt good enough conviction about to like put our name on it, put a bet behind it, put it in SoBet, dish it out, you know, put the streak on the line, right? Because we're undefeated.
Yeah.
We got a push in there, 8-0-1, but we're undefeated. And I told the guy, like, there's only one bet, and it's Rasmus Højgaard to beat Corey Connors in a 72-hole tournament matchup. And that was the bet. It was even money plus 100. And that was all we did. And the guy's like, one matchup, blah, blah, blah. But that's how it should be. You know, if you don't see something you like, you don't buy it. You don't partake.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do here.
We're trying to make money, trying to win. And, you know, you're not just you just don't start firing it from the hip on everything, especially when it comes to matchups and stuff like that. So, yeah. By the way, how about we hit the top 20s in there? We all kinds of stuff. I'm just
you had the Rasmus 2-1 or 2 something top 20 on the show. I had Straka; those both hit. The Super Bowl bets hit those. Hit the Eagles plus 1.5. You hit the over at 48.5. How about my Xavier Worthy call? The plus 360 most receiving yards in the game. Xavier Worthy, the X-Man. Thank you. That was easy. That was a layup. The Xavier Worthy anytime touchdown. The jersey number bet hit. The jersey number for the first touchdown hit easily. Yeah. We just cleaned up all week. We just absolutely cleaned up. So the boys are hot. We're having a good time. Definitely check out the Discord. Check out SoBet. And don't forget also the Ireland trip. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on the Ireland trip tonight, but the Ireland trip is going to be here before you know it in July, the week after the Open Championship. Tour Junkies and friends go to Ireland, and you can come with us. We want you to come with us. You can bring somebody that's you can bring a friend, you can bring a spouse, whatever. They don't have to be golfers. There's a price in there for them if they're not playing golf. But we're going to play 5 of the top 30 courses in Ireland, 2 in the top 10. It's going to be fantastic the week after the Open in July. The website linked in the description of the podcast and YouTube channel will give you all the details. That's where you buy. That's where you pay. It doesn't go through us. That's how you book it. And we're only taking a very few limited number of people here. We don't want a big group overseas in Ireland. It's just that gets tough. So you can go to that website, look at all that it includes. These golf courses are beautiful. They're stunning. And hotels taken care of, obviously transportation to and from the golf course and hotel every time we go. There's a nice group dinner in there, a group lunch, a couple other meals included. It's going to be fantastic. So you just got to get there with your flight, tip some caddies and spending money, and you're in. It's going to be a lot of fun. So get involved in that. You have to be signed up by April. I think it's by April. It's like tax day. You have to be signed up. So get in there and get involved. That's going to be a good time. All right, without further ado, let's get to our boy, Mr. Matt Every, joining us every single week here on the Tour Junkies podcast. The star of the ESPN Plus PGA Tour Live inaugural gambling feed last week at the Waste Management. I want to start with that, Matt. You did a great job, buddy. It was a lot of fun. You worked in Sneaky Link.
Did you watch?
Yeah.
You did?
Sure did.
What'd you think?
I thought it was great.
Could you hear me? Could you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did people say they couldn't hear you?
First day they said I was a little light, but I think it wasn't on my end. I think it was on the back end. But Yeah, right. Coach is pretty loud. He's a pretty loud
Yeah,
guy.
he's got that
So,
voice.
but I really enjoyed working with him, man. I thought we had a great rapport. You know, first show it's kind of live and learn. We got better every day. I hope they continue to do it a bunch. I know they're doing it at least 5 more this year. TPC is the next one, I believe. And then I know where the others are, but I don't know. Like, I know it's not that big a deal, but I just don't think they want me to say. Yeah.
So what? Like I listened and watched on Thursday and Friday. I did not watch on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
But like obviously, yeah, you and Coach were great. You guys really spent a lot of time on 16. You had Steve down there on 16. Were there like give the people any like little behind the scenes nugget of how like either something that was stressful or something you had to like think on your feet or
well, I mean, we're banking on ESPN Bet getting, you know, the odds to us in time in order to present them to be able to bet before the market closes on that bet, right? So we were trying to get closest to the pin odds for 16 just because it's the easiest one to entertain in that kind of format that we're showing. So, you know, that was a difficulty. I think in the future it'll get better, and then you'll just, I think that's where it's at, man. If you can parlay that kind of stuff together, you know, you're sitting in the stands with your buddies or at home. I don't know. I mean, I had a blast calling it. Like, it was super like I prepared quite a bit analytically.
Probably over prepared.
100%, dude. Yeah. Like I didn't use anything that I prepared for. I just started talking. But
you got it all up here.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, whatever. But I had a blast. It was a lot of fun. I had a hard time because I was also calling another feed, like when I wasn't doing that. So it was very hard to call golf regular after talking about gambling, you know, the whole time. Because we're talking about futures, like current top 10s. We brought in a couple guests from ESPN Bet. I'm sure they're speaking y'all's language. But yeah, man, it was cool. I'm learning too.
You had the good line on Peter Malnati on day one. What was it? Strokes gained
tee height.
Strokes gained tee height on the par 3. What is he? You know, you've not gotten the privilege of playing golf with me and Pat yet.
Oh yeah, Matt? You guys tee it up high on this.
Well, not. I'm not necessarily saying on the par 3s, but I've never played golf with anyone that tees their ball up higher than Pat tees his ball up. His ball is
like I'm fine with driver, but like a tour pro teeing their iron up like more than like that much on a par 3 is
now.
I
definitely don't do that. I tee it up right like where it's supposed to be on
a par 3. Yeah, the driver, it's crazy. I don't know how he does it.
I do tee it up high on the driver. I like a high tee.
You had the Michael Kim call, didn't you? Didn't you talk about him on the show? Was that what Tony's talking about? Was that you or was that Tony? I was thinking about the Michael Kim.
I think it might be Tony. Dude, I was ice cold last week. Thank God for football. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you guys do, by the way, in the Super Bowl?
Cleaned up, dude. That's what we're talking about. Those prop bets we crushed.
I missed coming on. I just got on in the
hopped
on. I didn't hear what you guys talked about in the beginning.
Prop bets did really well. But Pat hit Detry.
Dude, Pat, nice hit, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I was
didn't even have a sweat.
No.
I mean, for a second, there was a little bit of a second, but yeah, it was good. I mean, look, I've been on Detry for a while. And I was lukewarm on him, but he is a talented player. I'm surprised I was telling DB that he's the first Belgium to win on the PGA Tour.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
I thought after Friday doing the gambling show, I was just paying more attention to the odds throughout the week, and he was right around 5-1 after Friday to win the tournament. And I thought that was a freaking great bet. I mean, he's stoic as fuck. I know his last rounds haven't been great, but usually under pressure, the first thing that goes wrong is rhythm. And his swing is beautiful. It's like, how can that thing can't get out of rhythm? And he was just so dialed in. It felt like a layup. I really liked him outright to start the round at like -180 I felt like that was just put your whole bankroll on him before the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
because I didn't think it could lose.
No,
That's
and it didn't. It would have been a good bet if you did it. So
yeah. So that's you bring up a good point, because like that's what we talk about when we talk about guys that haven't won yet but have been close. And Detry has been close. He's been in a last group or two, I know, and I know he's been, if not in the last group, like been in the hunt on a Sunday and kind of just either flamed out a little bit or somebody just ran away with it. But he's been in the hunt. He's not a guy who's not been in the hunt yet. And I guess what we always try to figure out is like, what does that mean? Does it mean that since he's been in, like I think about a guy like Andrew Novak right now, right? Who's not won on tour, who's got all the skills, but he's been in it a little bit, but he just was in it as probably as close as he's ever been a couple weeks ago. So like the next time he's that much more aware of like what he has to do to like stay in it, right? Isn't that kind of was that what happens there?
I would agree with that. I know for me, like when I got my first one, it took me a little bit, believe it or not, I used to be a good golfer before I won my first Bay Hill. Like I actually was trending before I won it, but I had, I probably had in my eyes, like 4 or 5 realistic looks. Like actually more, but if I like the back 9 on Sunday, if I had a good back 9, I would have won the golf tournament. And it just wasn't happening. For me, it was, I think I told you guys on here, like a year ago or maybe 2 years ago. For me, it is continuing to put yourself in that situation, but like you just take little things out of it. For me, it's always, I don't have to do as much as I really think. And this stat guy basically told me that before my final round. He was like, you're far too aggressive in your final rounds. And I kind of knew that, but it was nice to hear it. And then he presented it to me in a way I never really looked at it. He showed me the first 3 holes of like the first 10 groups on Sunday morning at Bay Hill before I went out. And they were all like 1 over par. And it was like the first hole was playing 4.4, second was 3.3, third was whatever, 4.3. He's like, if you par the first 3, you're gaining a shot on the field. And like just twisting my mind a little bit into that, it went a long ways for me.
That's good. That's really good stuff. I heard you referencing, speaking of stats and stuff, I heard you like,
I was wearing it out on there.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm looking for, go ahead.
We gotta get a bet the number mention in there. I know you're not supposed to, but you could
I could do it. I could definitely do it. Yeah.
The people love the sneaky link. We had some chatter on X about that when you worked that in. So that was nice. That was good. It was a really good job, man. Like I'm not just blowing you up here. You did a good job. It was very fun to watch. So hopefully, oh, you're muted. Did you go mute? What happened?
All of a sudden, just no
Am
sound.
I muted?
Oh, I got.
There we go.
All right. Sorry.
What were you gonna say?
No, we were just I appreciate you saying that. We were just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. Like no rehearsal, no nothing. Yeah. Like this was just 2 guys talking about golf and gambling. But yeah, I had a blast.
Yeah. Well, it was good. You could tell. And I mean, people need to support that feed. So if the next time it's happening is the players, we need Tour Junkies people to watch that feed, tweet about it, post about it, whatever, support it, engage with it on, when the tour posts about it, because we want more of that. And so, yeah, I would say let's jump on that. Before we get to – go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I know if I have like a major role in this, I will 100% be lobbying for you guys to be guests on that show.
It'd be a lot of fun.
It would be so much fun.
Yeah. What before we get into like the nitty gritty of this week, Tiger, I mean, I kind of was shocked when Tiger committed.
Same.
So I'm definitely not shocked that he's out.
Same.
I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about there unless you want to. I did want to ask both of your thoughts. Are we worried that like the Max Homa thing is long term? Because boy, like Max continue. I'm just like, I don't know. His name just stood out to me this week when I looked at the leaderboard and then I looked at the stats and like the struggle is really real with Max, especially with his irons. He's losing a lot of strokes with those irons, which was his bread and butter for a long time. and it just makes you wonder like what's going on. Was the run that he was on the anomaly, or is this the anomaly? You know what I mean? Or how do we look at that? What do we think about Max Homa right now?
Pat, you go first.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think it's like anything. Yeah, it's like anything though. When you're looking at something like this, you're kind of like, you forget the past and what kind of brought Max Homa to where he was. I mean, Max Homa was on our show very early on before he started getting, as good as he was, and his game wasn't there. I mean, he missed a ton of cuts in a row, like, wasn't on tour.
That's why he was on our show.
Yeah, and then all of us, yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden, his confidence comes back, and then he gets the wins that he had, and
that's why he was on No Laying Up show.
Exactly,
and then go on our show.
I think a player like that, can lose when he loses confidence. It's probably going to take him a little bit longer to get back, and I feel like he is going to. I mean, but it's certainly he is not in a good place with his golf game right now. He's not in a good place, and I think it could be more prolonged for a player like him. Somebody we've seen that from before. I think others come back quicker. Like even like a Jordan Spieth, I would think would come back a lot quicker than somebody like a Max Homa. That's just my opinion. So I think he's going to get there, but it's not going to be. I don't feel like it's anytime soon.
Oh man, I there's a million ways I could go with this. I played with Max the round he got his card back and it was like the Korn Ferry playoffs. We were playing this place just outside of Cleveland. Last round, we're coming down 17. There was one more playoff event left after this, but he could wrap up his card in this round. And it was just him and I. He freaking striped it the whole round. We get to 17. It's a brutal par 3. And he kind of hits this like squeezer out to the right, and he flubs this chip, and he's got a nasty chip, like downhill, short-sided, and he holes it and then like pars the last to get his card. And I remember thinking like, dude, this guy's got a like, he's a big talent. Like it's not, I am worried though. I just, there's so much golf swing going on with him right now. I don't know how he can score every time I do like some, on the range segment or something, or, the cameras are on him. There's too much, like, there's just too much of rehearsing going on. And I don't know if that's the right side of the brain for Max. Maybe it is. I mean, nobody knows but him, but, I'm sure he's ready to see a good result. I'm pulling for him, but I am concerned.
He's played in 17. I count 17 tournaments since Augusta, which he obviously played really well at Augusta. Finished T3, was in the mix until I think number 11 on Sunday. He's played 17 tournaments since then with one top 20, and it was 2 weeks after at the Wells Fargo. Has not had a top 20 finish.
Hey, where is he losing at right now? Are you guys like,
I mean, it's pretty much everywhere.
Yeah,
it's pretty much everywhere with the exception of around the green. Like around the green, he's saving it a little bit, but he's losing massive strokes off the tee. He's losing massive strokes on approach. He's not putting great, which I mean, I would imagine, I don't know. Like the ball striking is what really stands out to me. And we're not talking about, sure, are there weeks where if you're looking at bet the number, the box is like a shade of pink, which is like not terrible. Yeah, there's weeks like that. But there's also a whole lot of bright ass red phone ringing red. Like the BMW when he loses 8.7 shots off the tee. Last week when he lost 5 on approach. Pebble when he lost 5.8 on approach. Just big weeks where it's like, God, how does he even? And that's in 2 rounds last week. He lost 5 strokes. So I don't know. It's I don't know how I would be in that situation. Like I wonder how, and I guess it just depends on the person, because if it were me, this is how my brain would work. If it were me and I felt like I sucked, like I wasn't this golden child coming out of college. I wasn't this like unbelievable player immediately like a Ludwig or a Morikawa or whatever. I had to really grind and work my way up. And then I finally got on tour and I sucked on tour. And then I finally broke through and then I became something. And now I suck again. I would be like, oh shit. Like maybe
deflated.
maybe that run that I was on was actually, that is the crazy part. Now I'm back to my norm versus being like the golden child Jordan Spieth, who just emerges from the womb and he's amazing all the time. And then the first sign of struggle, you're like, oh, this is the anomaly.
Yeah.
I'll be back to the elite. I don't know how other people think about it, but it's an interesting thing to watch right now with Max because he's a beloved player by a lot of people, and the tour props him up like no other. And if the dude can't get it together, it's going to be another tough year for him. One to watch. And I love him because I hit him when he won here. Not here, but when he won at Riviera for the Genesis. But we're back at Torrey Pines. We were just here a couple weeks ago. Torrey Pines South, all 4 rounds, 72 players. No, there is a cut. This is one of those 3 events with a cut. Top 50 in ties. Yep.
Okay.
Top 50 in ties this week. So that's unusual. Obviously, we're here because of the fires in the Palisades over there in LA. We just talked about Torrey Pines a couple weeks ago. Probably not much difference, I would imagine. Have you heard anything, Matt, about conditions, or are they going to do anything different with the setup? There does look like there's going to be some weather on Thursday, but what do you think?
What kind of weather on Thursday? Wind or like rain?
It's more wind, and I think a little bit of rain, but there is some gusty winds.
How much wind have they gotten? Or I'm sorry, how much rain have they gotten since the tournament? Because didn't LA get a bunch of rain?
We've heard
did San Diego get any of that?
We heard today that it has rained and it is going to be soft and the rough looks juicy. That's what we heard today.
Yeah. So I think that'll make it play a little bit different for sure.
And there is more rain coming. It looks like overnight Wednesday into the morning Thursday, and then winds most of the day Thursday in the low teens with gusts in the high teens. Yeah. And that's really the only bad weather day.
Yeah.
Not much of a draw, I guess, because you got only 72 players, but a little bit of a draw, baby draw.
Will they go off of 1T?
I think they do for the 72-man fields. Yeah.
Oh, so that could definitely matter for.
I think.
I think they're going to split tee it. I think they're going to split tee it.
Maybe they have to because everybody's so damn slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they still split tee it. Anyway, what do you think?
Not much. I mean, we're basically handicapping Torrey again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy hitters, bombers.
Heavy hitters. Yeah, I took. So I've been pretty slammed this week, dude, and I just took a peek at betting the number probably an hour ago. So these are initial thoughts, but I'm not super short on this. I'm pretty, mid to high bombs here.
Okay.
Are you guys in that range?
I'm the same. I mean, I did our first look show in the Nut Hut this morning, and
my shortest is 40 to 1, I think.
Yeah, I like a lot in that range. We're probably gonna have a lot of agreement in there.
Yeah, I think we are. And I don't really see anybody on the shorter end that appeals to me all that much when it comes to a value standpoint. I just don't see it. Like I even think like there'll be some folks that want to look at Ludd where his value is, but he's not right now.
No
I mean,
form,
he's not like Max Homa wrong, but it's just
I think Ludd's a DFS play. I think Ludd is 100% a DFS pivot. I don't know if I want to bet him to win. Up top for me, Rory feels interesting at 7 to 1, and then Justin Thomas at 22. If you're buying the JT, which I have not spent any units on JT yet in a long time, but 22, given his form, is starting to kind of be appealing to me. But after that, I'm into the 40s too.
That's the only one I could be tucked into as well is JT, but I'm not.
Wait. Do we need to do something with the season before we get into this? Because I feel like then we could be like stealing each other.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
God, I always forget this.
Who won last week?
What do we have?
Tony won. I think Tony won.
Tony hit a winner.
Yeah. Well, he didn't hit the winner, but I think he had the best players. What are we doing here?
Tony had Straka and Schenk. I had Hideki and Smalley. Matt had Sam Burns and KHC, and Pat had Scotty and Jake Knapp. Wow, how about that Scotty pick backfiring on you?
Seriously.
So I think we're now back to
it's back to where we started.
It's back to me.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I am going to take Well, wait a minute. What are we going to do now with the long shot? Because we don't have a lot of 150. What did we do last time? The limited
100,
field.
right?
Did we do 100?
100.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, we did 100.
Then I think I'm going to take my 100 player first.
Oh, you dirty dog.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I have to. Let me make sure he's 100 still.
I know where you're going with
I do
this.
too. I know it's one of two guys for me.
Yeah, I got it. I'm with you there.
What if I surprise you though?
You might.
I'm so tempted to go with this dude. Sheesh. I'm gonna go Cam Davis. Give me the
Okay, that
Aussie.
was not one of
That
them.
was
All
not
right.
one of mine
Yeah.
either.
Give me the smelly Aussie.
Wow.
Cam D, baby.
That is smelly.
All right, that's mine. So we got Tony.
All right, judging how Matt and Pat were with some of the longer odds there and what they thought, I think I'm gonna take my 100 and over. I had two guys that I'm looking at. I'm gonna go Justin Rose, 120 to 1.
Okay, all right. They're still on the
Wow.
board for us, Matt, because I know
They
where I
are.
think you're going.
Yeah. Okay. Am I next?
Yep.
All right. I am going to go, Pat. I'm going to crack up if this isn't one of them. I am going to go. I'll leave you Andrew Novak. I'm going to go Lucas Glover at 100 to 1.
Okay. All right. Well, then
No
thank
way
you.
it was Glover.
Thank you, because it was going
Yeah.
to be Andrew Novak. So I'm going to go ahead and take Andrew Novak at 100 to 1. I'm going back to him. I know he missed a cut last week, but I'm going back to Novak. So
Wow, my other player has not been taken.
all right. So that means that's
We
I get
all
to
went
go-
with our 100 to 1s.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I'm going to go. All right. So I go right.
Yeah. Dang, I should have taken the shorter player now.
I tell you, because I do think this guy. I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa. I'll take Morikawa
Oof.
here.
All right, Matt.
All right. I'm going to go Justin Thomas.
Dang it.
I know.
Bastard. All
I
right,
can
Tony.
barely look at myself in the mirror right now.
I'm
Tony.
going Sung Jae.
Sung Bae.
Sung Jae M. Good course history here.
Yep.
Boy, do I take Rory or do I take the guy that I love the value on? I mean, what a ding dong would I be for not taking Rory though, right? Although he doesn't seem to fancy. Yeah, I gotta take Rory. I don't want to big brain this thing. I'd feel like an idiot if I didn't take Rory, and then he won. So I'll take Rory.
All right.
All right, that's the season-long bet. We'll keep up with those standings. Let's get a totals report here. Let's see.
I'm struggling.
A totals report. Yeah. Oh, geez. Matt is on the low end of the.
Hey,
so Matt.
it can be fixed. It can be turned around.
Oh,
one
dude,
week.
this can turn around extremely quickly.
Yeah.
Believe
Matt
me,
is
I
at
know.
around 227,000 in last. So currently, the punishment would be paid by Matt. After that, you've got Tony at 501,000, so roughly double Matt's total. Then you've got Pat at 802, and I'm at 1.16.
I could be in first after this week
You could be, yeah, easily.
when Lucas
just-
Glover takes this thing down.
God, what a disgusting way that would be to take over the lead. By the way, Pat, any update on paying off your bet from last year?
Well, I did
Interesting.
buy tickets to a concert. I don't know if this counts or not, but if you want
I
to
bet it
make
doesn't.
if you want to make it count, you can, because you probably hate them. But I am going to Coldplay this summer.
I didn't lose the bet. I didn't lose the bet.
I'm going to go
Yeah.
see Coldplay this summer. I've already bought the tickets. Does that count? If you
No.
hate them, yeah.
No, I did not lose the bet. You have to hate them. And it has to be a scream. It has to be some sort of scream rage band. So
Okay, well, I'm moving closer.
you got to keep working. Coldplay is far from that. All right, Matt, let's get the rest of your picks, your bets, and we'll get you out of here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is just real quick glancing over it. I
Yeah, no,
have
you don't have to commit. You'll put the final picks in the Discord as
Yes.
you always do.
yes, Pendrith 40 to 1. That's going to be my shortest.
That's why I almost took over Rory, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, right behind him, I have Keegan at 50 to 1. What was the course like 2 weeks? The course 2 weeks ago, was it firmish? Like
Yeah, I think it was.
So you
I
think
think
we're
it
getting a
was.
wetter
I think the
Torrey?
rain came. Yeah. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna shift a little. I'm gonna go Akshay 80-1.
Yep.
And then I also have Justin Rose at 120-1. That's just 4 guys, I believe.
Rosie.
I have Glover and Stevens. If it was similar, I would have liked Stevens. Fuck it. I'll still take Stevens here. I'll drop Glover.
How many tournaments in a row has Sam Stevens played?
It's a lot, but I'm not super worried. I just feel like that's like what Eric Cole does. They have no kid. I'm assuming he doesn't have any kids, but like this is their life. Is like just chasing the PGA Tour. They don't know any better.
Yeah, this is 6th week in a row, and he's made the cut every week. So he's his back is tight.
That's gonna get scratched. That pick. I'll find another one.
Okay. Yeah. So I changed your mind. Okay. Any other top 10s outside of those that bunch? I mean, I'm sure Sam Stevens would be a bomb top 10.
Let's look at that real quick. Top 10s. Let's look at some bomb top 10s. How about Billy Horschel plus 240?
Okay.
Don't hate that.
No.
You don't like it?
No.
Okay.
Can I tell you who my other long shot bet was going to be that I thought you guys were eyeballing, but clearly nobody was?
Who?
And I think I liked him here 2 weeks ago, and he disappointed me. But Jaeger. Didn't we both like? We all liked Jaeger.
Yeah, we did.
I think we did.
I still think I want to try it one more time.
What about Michael Kim?
Try another shot of Jaeger?
Yeah, no shot of Jaeger. Oh yeah, how about Michael Kim? See, Matt, you're not on X anymore, so you don't get to see Michael's.
Michael, he told a story about me once. Somebody forwarded it to me. He told a story about me on Twitter once. Like he didn't name my name, but it was me, and he just butchered it. It was terrible.
Nice. He doesn't have a journalism career in his future.
I don't know. I think I heard Mike say like 10 words the whole time I played out there. Like it's bizarre that he
uses them
all. He's like so vocal on Twitter, but it's working for him, dude. He's playing some golf right now too.
He is playing good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You ought to. I'll send you a screenshot of what he wrote this past week. It was interesting. I read it. It was something about this driver decision he made right before the last round. He said he'd never done it in his career, which he's been out there a minute. Let me see what he said. He said he reached out to Joe Mayo, by the way, after listening to Joe on the NLU pod talking about his attack angle on chips. He said I know I had the shallowest angle of attack on tour.
Really?
For chipping, and he reached out to Joe Mayo, and he went from -3 to -7. And he said I had better contact, which led to better distance control, and it was why I was able to go bogey free for 57 holes and one bogey in 72. He was 9th in strokes gained around the greens this week. Joe Mayo.
Have I pumped Joe's tires on here?
No.
Okay, I will. Like that guy.
That podcast was fantastic. I had not listened to that dude. He's fantastic.
He's special. Like like when he first came out on tour, man, he was known as like this track man, like czar basically, and he's pretty much exclusively working with Brian Gay, and he would just be on Brian's hip, but he was always like taking a peek over, and then I struggled chipping, and he would always be telling me, get in the ground, and I'm like not even asking him for anything. I was just doing the same shit every week and sucking. And he was great, but that guy knows what he's talking about. Everyone that goes, he's like the lab golf putters. Like everyone that goes to them gets better. By the way, have you noticed how many guys are using lab golf putters now out there?
It's a lot.
Like a lot.
My 14-year-old's asking me to get him one. And I'm like, you
should.
Dude. Well, yeah, but like, I don't know. I feel like you got to get fit for stuff like that.
So what? Go get fit for it.
There ain't nowhere to do that around here.
Come on, it's not.
There's
that
not.
Hard.
Let me read you this driver thing real quick. See what you think. Okay. He says Friday I had a really bad warm up. The driver was terrible, so much so that I switched my driver setting from D1 to A1. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Is that a weight?
Yeah. I mean, he's just changing either like something to do with the line loft or launch angle.
He said he changed it with 10 minutes to go for his tee time, something I've never done in my career. I've switched it earlier in the week but he had never done that. The reason I switched was I was hitting it well on the really good ones, but tended to miss it too much left at times. I wanted to be 10% better, but it got way worse. Funny how golf works out. Anyway, I don't know what his. Let me look up his how he did on the tee on round 4. I could tell you his strokes gained numbers. So
I mean, I think that stuff happens more often than you would think.
Then you think, yeah, he crushed it off the tee. He gained 3 strokes.
Yeah,
he is playing well right now.
If you're playing out there long enough, like you're making decisions like that, no problem at all. Yeah, right before the tee.
Listen, thanks, Matt. We appreciate it, man. You did a great job last week. Like I said, good to have you on. We'll see you in the Discord, and I feel a winner coming here for you pretty soon.
I need one. Been cold.
Got one out of the way early this year. I think you're gonna get one out of the way. We'll
Pat, I'm pumped for you though, dude. That was a pretty sick call.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
Matt Every, everybody. See you, Matt.
Later.
About half the guys Matt named, I am also very much in on. Pendrith being one was really the first one for me at 40 to 1. He didn't mention him, but if you go, I'm a broken record here, but you know who was one of the best players in terms of a ball striking week last week? I think he finished 2nd or 3rd in approach. It was Sepp Straka again. Like literally Sepp Straka. His approach play in the 5 events he's played in 2025, 3.6, 4.5, 2.3, 4.5, 5.7 last week. He had his best iron week of 2025 at the Waste Management last week. I'm not going to stop doing Sepp Straka while he's hot right now. He's got a T13 and a T16 at Torrey in his past. Didn't play here a couple weeks ago. He's 45 to 1. They're going to keep giving me the number. I'm going to keep taking it. So I'm in on that. Adam Scott and Akshay were 2 names in the 80 range. Now, Matt mentioned Akshay, who I like, but I was going to try to narrow it down between one there. I think I'm going to lean Adam Scott, actually. I'm going to lean Adam Scott with a little bit more experience around Torrey Pines. I think he likes this place. I'm going to go Adam Scott at 80. Cam Davis at 100. I already talked about him a little bit. Those are 4 solid ones right now. I'm going to see who else you say that you might convince me of one more before we get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I think for one, I'm going to go Pendrith, who isn't one I always get too excited about, but I think in DFS and whatever else, he's also going to be super popular anyway. I think there's going to be a lot of people when all the tweets go out or on who everybody's got. Pendrith is going to be on all the cards. I'll probably have him on there, not just because of that, but because I do think he can win this tournament outright. So I do like him. I like Bobby Mack. I was looking at him on the First Look show, DB. I mean, I think, by the way, did you see Bobby Mack this week? Did you watch any of it?
No.
He's not portly.
What?
He's not portly anymore. He has lost some weight. Everyone agreed with me. It was 100% agreement. Lost weight.
Really?
He's not down in the Guinnesses apparently like he was. So I don't know. A less portly Bobby Mack who was playing well last year.
I don't know if I like that actually. I like my Bobby Mack's portly and round and plump.
Well,
juicy.
We'll see. I'm gonna try to bet a non-portly Bobby Mack this week at 45 to 1. Pendrith also at 40 to 1. I think I'm going to continue this with Sam Stevens. I'm going to continue this relationship I've had all year. Obviously
to win.
He finished 2nd here like 3 weeks ago.
I know, but now it's like
I think I'm going to throw out
the field's a lot stronger now.
Okay, but still, I think Stevens at 75 to 1. I've seen him a little bit longer in some places. I think Berger too at 80 to 1. I'm going to believe what I saw last week from Berger. He looked really good, and his confidence is back. Berger is going to win this year, I think. And 80 to 1, I like Berger. And then my last one, my longest shot is Novak, who I'd already written down at 100 to 1 that I took in the season long bet. I think you look at where he was last time he played here. It was very good. He was 3rd here behind Stevens. He's 16th in the BTN model this week. So I think Novak is another one that, despite the missed cut last week, he had still been coming in pretty good form. I think Novak is another one at 100-1 that I like there. And that's probably about as far out as I'm going to go.
Well, you didn't name a guy I thought you might name, and I'm toying with it. He's not a lock, but Shane Lowry at 40 is another one that I was looking at a little bit. Speaking of portly Euros, flusher, good iron player, great short game, going to be good in the cool morning air and the breezes at Torrey on Thursday, maybe Friday. I don't know. Shane kind of interests me a little bit too. So those are the first few guys I'm eyeballing. But I mean, I think based on what we've heard from from people already on site at Torrey, our Bet the Number friends on site at Torrey, which, by the way, if you don't have a Bet the Number account, what are you doing? That is the sole reason I am crushing it in these matchups on SoBet every week, is the Bet the Number matchup tool that they've built. So click the link in the description to get a nice discount there with code TJ. Join Bet the Number, and you get even if you do the monthly, you get the first week free. You can try that out. 7-day free trial. Great website. PGA Tour shot link licensed data coming in live. The live prop tracker tool is fantastic too for props on any sportsbook or underdog or prize picks or whatever you're doing. So check out Bet the Number. But based on what we're hearing on site in terms of conditions plus the weather, I think I might kind of hold off. I don't know. I'm probably going to fire on Pendrith no matter what, Straka no matter what, and then I might just wait on everybody else. Maybe Lowry, if I start really digging deep and start liking him more, might fire on those a little early because I could see those numbers shortening, like you mentioned. I could see Pendrith catching some steam. But other than that, I think I might wait. All right, top 10 6-pack, 2 locks, 1 bomb. Who you got?
Well, my locks are going to be, I talked about Morikawa also earlier. I'm going to go with him at plus 140. I'm going to go back to again with Rasmus at plus 300 as a top 10. I just love how the guy's playing. I thought about him as an outright, but I'm still just going to continue in that placement market for Rasmus after winning with him last week. So I'm just going to roll that bet over into this week. And then long shot for me on the 4-1 is I'm going to go with Keegan. Matt just mentioned Keegan a minute ago. He's 4-1 plus 400 as a top 10. Played well here last time a couple weeks ago. I'll go with Keegan at plus 400 for a top 10.
Don't mind that at all. Keegs. I still think Keegs is going to, be on that FU tour. I think he wants to earn his way as a playing captain. I could see it happening. He's only going to do it if he makes it on points. My 2 locks are going to be number 1 and number 2 in my Bet the Number model. By the way, DB's Genesis 2025 Torrey Bet the Number model is now publicly visible if anybody wants to go look at that. I took most of what I did last year, made a few tweaks at Torrey, and published that one. Number 1 is Taylor Pendrith at plus 280. Number 2 is Justin Thomas at plus 170. Both with solid records here. Pendrith's record here is fantastic. Both coming off some really, actually 2 top 10s in their last 2 or 3 starts. So both playing well, both good record around here. Both check the boxes that you need to do well here at Torrey Pines. So those seem easy to me. For the bomb, I think I'm just going to go with, I'm going to go. Every now and then DB gives you a mega bomb. You know what I mean? Like every now and then I give a mega bomb. And I do think most of my mega bombs, I think I do pretty well. I think I'm up units on the mega bomb. I'm going to go with a guy at plus 850. Oh, who has a T6 here last year. Now, he played a couple weeks ago. He did miss the cut, but T6 last year, T16 last week, got his first PGA Tour win in the fall, and hits it pretty far. He's top 10 in ball speed in my model, 3rd in strokes gained off the tee, good iron player, can't putt or chip, but we'll see how it goes here at Torrey Pines. I'm going Kevin Yu at plus 850 as my bomb.
Okay. All right.
Did I sell you on that?
Yeah, you did actually.
Okay.
I like that. I think that's a good call.
Let's talk DFS pivots. We'll get out of here with that. Chalk, I think, is pretty easy to guess up top. So let's talk about pivots. Who do we think? I think Kevin Yu. I'm going to start at the bottom.
Okay.
Kevin Yu is 6K. He's minimum. I think the pricing is super soft. So if you want to play Scotty, if you want to play Rory, easy to get those guys in. remember, most of the field is going to make the cut. There's only, it's top 50 in ties making the cut, 72 total players. Kevin Yu is minimum price. I mentioned him earlier, but Jaeger is 6,400, and I just think we've seen Jaeger's potential here a couple years ago. We didn't see it a couple weeks ago, but his new skill set fits Torrey nicely. So I like that upside at 6,400. My boy Gary Woodland continues to just continues to be solid. Now, here's the one thing that'll annoy the piss out of you if you play Gary Woodland. He is not a big time scorer. Like, his card on Friday or something was literally one bogey and a birdie, and then the rest of it was pars. And he was moving up the leaderboard. And you're just like, God dang it, Gary, make a couple birdies. Get a little more Jordan Spieth in you. So he's not an incredible DraftKings play all the time because he doesn't score a lot of points. But a week like this, where maybe scoring can be a little more difficult if these conditions are where they are, the course is going to play super long. A guy like Gary, I think, is an interesting play, and nobody seems to really think he's worth a lot of attention. I think Akshay, who Matt mentioned, is in play. I think Keegan is another one. And then I think my boy Lowry is going to be a nice value at 8,800. I think that's a strong value. I could easily see Shane Lowry winning this thing. And I don't know how much attention he'll get. Maybe he will. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Lowry's certainly one that I was looking at as far as a little bit of a pivot play. I think maybe Jason Day. I don't know if Jason Day is going to have a lot of.
I don't mind that.
I like that at 8,700. Up top, you mentioned Ludwig earlier. I think if he's all's healthy with him, he could certainly be a good DFS pivot play. I think that kind of like low 8K range, 7K range is going to be interesting. DB, I hate to say it, but I'm starting to want to cook.
Oh, are you?
I'm starting
to get in the kitchen.
I'm starting to want to
put your apron on.
Lee. I'm starting to want to get in there with him. And
I don't hate it.
I had him. By the way, you talk about a good week last week. I had Minwoo Lee in my lineup. I did like 2 DFS lineups. I did the $33 single entry. I finished in the top 30. I think I won a couple $100. I haven't done that in I don't know how long. And Minwoo Lee was in there. If it had not been for it,
what was he owned? Because remember, I talked about that last week. I said I'm starting to come around, and if we get a low-owned Minwoo Lee or like a barely owned, like I'm in.
Okay, let me tell you what he was owned.
It does feel like the Minwoo Lee hype has started to kind of subside a little bit. I don't know if it's like other players have people's attention.
He was popular, but it was.
Oh,
you got to think it was.
What was he?
He was 19%. Now this is a 30. This is a single entry though.
So I still.
Scheffler was 67%.
Yeah, I saw that. I still would have avoided it. If you'd have told me Minwoo was 19, I still would have been like, no.
Well, it's harder to gauge.
Good call.
It's harder to gauge that ownership, and because we're looking at larger, GPP contests, not single entries. And I probably would have maybe switched them out. I wish I had Detry. Probably could have won the whole damn thing. But anyway, I do think Minwoo Lee could be interesting. Look, why would we not look at going back to Harris English? Why would we not?
Well, I mean, because I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want to bank on the 7 strokes gained on the POA greens again for the guy from
I know
that lives in South Georgia. I don't know. Maybe call me crazy. I don't want to bank on the 7 shots gained putting again.
The other one I think we should look at a little bit just because of the form off the T4 last week in the 6K range at 6,700. CBez. I think CBez could be interesting here. So
I have a CBez blocker somewhere in my brain. There's somewhere it just doesn't. I can easily just be like, no, get away from me.
Yeah.
Like
you could have done that with
if I was,
too. You could have been like, no, Detry. No, or Detry, whatever.
Yeah, but I like him and he's good.
You're right.
Like I can, if I'm, CBez is like, CBez is like, if you're in, name a skeezy town, like it's kind of like Las Vegas, right? You walk down the strip in Las Vegas and some girl with a booby tassels come on and she's trying to hand you a flyer to get you to come and, come over there where she is and watch her perform. And it's not a great establishment. And maybe you're with your wife, and
Wait,
you got to
in that
really
establishment,
huh?
What, you're with your wife in that?
No, you're not in there yet. You're not in there yet. You're
okay.
walking down the street. You're being approached.
Yeah.
CBez, the CBez version of the Vegas booby tassel girl is approaching you at Vegas. Your wife is with you, and you have to be on your game. You have to be locked in and ready to respond to that situation, because if you hesitate and your wife sees you hesitate, your wife is like, oh, wait, what? Did you think about that for a minute? Or what would you have done if I wasn't here? What are you thinking? Or about, then you got real problems. So you have to be ready. You have to be locked in.
Yeah.
Know what you're going to do. So like in my world, when CBez walks up to me in his booby tassels and he's like, hey, you want to play? I can very easily in my sleep just go, no, I'm good. Thank you. Boom. Locked in, quick.
Yep.
Assertive, decisive, firm, respectful, but just like, no, bye. And my wife is like, oh, honey, really proud of you.
Sweet. So glad that you.
That's kind of how that works. Now, there are other guys who I'm not like that with, but CBez is just one. I can just easily be like, no, ma'am. No, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you're feeling a little trashy. You want to go with CBez. I mean, I don't know.
Listen, I feel trashy too. I do.
Yeah.
I feel trashy, but when I'm trashy, the drug of choice is not CBez. Who is my drug of choice when I'm trashy? Who do you think it is? Who would you say it is?
Oh, that's a good question, DB. I don't know.
Put in the comments, people.
Yeah,
you listen to enough shows. You hear who we talk about. Who's my drug of choice? My trashy booby tassel lady that I can't say no to.
It could be Bo Hostler, and there might be some actual tassels there.
Well, boobies for tassels to go on. Yes, for sure.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know if Bo has tassels or not, but I wonder. I mean, you're talking about Bobby Mack right now. I wonder if there could be issues there.
Not yet.
You know what though? Bo vindicated me last fall. I mean, I rode Bo hard last year, but he vindicated the heck out of me with his fall. He had a great fall. Do you forget? Didn't he have a great fall? Am I forgetting? It could be me.
I don't know. I'm just saying he could be one.
He had a great fall. He finished runner-up, 11th, 23rd, 20th, 12th. No, that was 12th. Sorry, 12th was the Amex. 15th was the Farmers. He's not in the field right now, but he had a great year. Great fall. So I have no shame against that one. It's got to be dirtier than Bo. This has to be one that you regret after. You feel bad after.
Well, we'll see it in the comments and see what happens.
All right, put in the comments. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Have a great week. Bend over your bookies and make your screens be green. See ya. Out. Tour Junkies featuring David Barnett is not an affiliate of CWM LLC. Opinions expressed by the host or guests do not reflect those of CWM LLC. CWM LLC does not endorse gambling or the entities promoted by the Tour Junkies podcast. David is a non-registered representative of CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.